أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Ramadan is just around the corner. We need to know certain things before we start fasting. What are these things? First of all, we need to know Ramadan is the fourth pillar of Islam. This is an order from Allah that every sane adult Muslim has to fast when the moon is sighted, with certain exceptions, like somebody who is traveling, he has a license. Somebody who is sick, he has a license. Somebody who is too old, he has a license to or not to fast. But at the end of Ramadan, for people who are traveling and sick, or who can, they have to pay for whatever days they have missed. It's very important for us to know that this is a command from Allah. You don't have to have a reason. Allah does not have to give you a reason when He commands you to do something, because some people want to know, why am I fasting? Why should I fast? Can't I just go like that? Or why do I have to fast? Why do I have to abstain myself from food and drink instead of just food? Allah says so. Why? First of all, Allah says so. Second of all, it increases you in piety. Allah says it will bring you closer to Him. Then it trains you, the Muslim, to exercise patience. In other words, self-restraint, endurance, truthfulness, tolerance, and sharing. Then also it makes you share the experience of the poor and the needy people, the suffering that they are going through. You have money, you can eat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 20 times a day. They don't have money to even get a decent meal sometimes for a whole week. So even though you have the money, Allah is telling you, you can use this money. Try to go through the pain, the suffering that the poor person is going through. So it's very important for us not to try to find out why Allah says so. Just attend to Allah's command. Fasting, as with any ibadat in Islam, it's very important for us to know that the intention counts greatly while you're fasting. Before fasting, you have to make up the intention the night before you start fasting, that I'm going to fast for the whole month of Ramadan and I'm going to fast tomorrow. If you go ahead and fasted without intention to fast, just fasting because everybody is fasting, or because you want to lose weight, or because you want to please yourself or please your wife or please your co-worker or your friend, so people can know you're not somebody lazy, that means you're not fasting for the sake of Allah. You have no reward from Allah. You're just doing it to please yourself or other people. What are the things recommended in the month of Ramadan? Good deeds, for instance, remembrance of Allah, reading Quran, tahajjud prayers, charity. Lots of these are highly recommended. What are the things prohibited? As we all know, fasting simply means abstainment from food, drink, and sexual activities during the day. At night, it's okay to eat your food and drink your water or soda and have a relationship with your wife. Having a relationship with the wife is permitted by Allah. Do at night after you break your fast. We need to know that if you have a relationship while you're fasting during the day with your wife, you force her to have a relationship or she's ignorant about it, it's going to be, you have to redeem yourself. How do you redeem yourself? There's an expiation. The expiation for breaking your fast through that process would need you to free a slave, and if you're unable to do so, you have to observe fasting for 60 consecutive days, 60 days straight, 2 months. You cannot break them. You cannot fast for a few days and stop and say, let me continue. When you stop, you have to start all over again. In other words, 60 straight days. If you can do that, you feed 60 needy people. Again, you either free a slave or fast for 2 months straight or feed 60 people. And the wife, if she's forced to do so, all she has to do is fast for 1 day. But if she consented and knows what she's doing, breaking the fast deliberately, knowingly, she has to do the same thing. She has to go through the same process. Free a slave or observe fasting for 2 months straight, or feed 60 people. Now, if you are traveling, like Allah said, if you are traveling or you're sick or traveling, you have the license to or not to. But a lot of scholars say it's best to accept Allah's gift. That's a gift from Allah. You should go ahead and fast. A lot of scholars say 48 miles or 50 miles. Let's say you're traveling, you're taking a plane from east to west, or from Europe to the States. And you decide to fast on that day. You get on the plane without breaking your fast. You cannot break your fast. Once you get on the plane, you have to wait till the sun goes down. If you're used to breaking your fast at 7 o'clock European time or England time, for instance, and then you get on a plane, you know, the more you come fly west, the longer the day is going to be. Maybe by 3 hours or 4 hours or 5 hours. So therefore, since you have decided not to break your fast before getting on the plane, you get on the plane and you have to have another extra 2, 3, 4, 5 hours before the sun goes down. You cannot break your fast on the plane until the sun goes down. Why? Because you're fasting based on the sun, not based on the time. So it's very important for us to know this. Also, it is highly, highly, highly hateful in the month of Ramadan to get involved into gossiping, backbiting, slandering, reviling any time in the month of Ramadan in particular. Even though in general it is hateful, it is one of the major crimes, backbiting, namima, talking about people behind their backs, saying the wrong things, especially behind people's back. That's highly. The Prophet ﷺ says, you will be wasting time by abstaining from food and drink if you get involved into namima, backbiting, slandering, talking about people, gossiping. There's no need for you to abstain yourself from food and drink. That simply means that your fasting is not going to be accepted by Allah. We need to know this. That's a major crime. Excessive gargling of water, sniffing water through the nose, food tasting, kissing one's wife, and all. These are things that should be avoided. And we need to know these things so we can stay away from them. It is very important, we as Muslims, to make sure we do the right thing, and make sure when we fast only for the sake of Allah, to please Him, to obey Him. Also, things that invalidate fasting: willful eating, let me repeat them: willful eating, drinking, or having sexual relationship with your wife. And then what do you call menstrual or postnatal bleeding during the day, induced vomiting, masturbation, or ejaculation as a result of fondling with one's wife, or any discharge after sexual activity during the day in Ramadan. Willful cupping, invalidate the fasting of both the cupped and the cupper. Intravenous feeding, that would invalidate your fast. We need to know these things. I ask Allah to accept this effort and forgive me, my parents, and all the believing believers, and help us go through the month of Ramadan, and so He can accept our fasting too. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.